All right. Good evening. I'm here with David Gaskey, who is co-founder and CEO of Ultimatum. Can you please tell our listeners a little bit more about who you are, what does Ultimatum does, and can you please tell us how did you envision the need for this product for the legal industry?
Sure. So my background is I practiced law for 30 years, specializing in intellectual property. My co-founder, Vasu, was a client of mine. I represented him in a copyright infringement case. He was the author of the software that was involved in that case. So I very quickly learned how brilliant he is at solving very complex problems and making things easy on the user. He quickly learned what a pain all this data is to those of us in the legal profession. So we commiserated during his case over just how challenging it was to find those key nuggets of information that you really need. And that was really the spark for establishing Ultimatum and going out, solving a problem that we saw nobody else had solved, which is how do I get to the most important information as quickly and effectively as possible. If there's a smoking gun, I want to know now. I don't want my client to find out, 3 or 6 months down the road. So that was really what we started with.
So IP litigation, it's costly. We all know that. My career actually started in IP as well. On the commercialization side, I actually didn't know that you also started from there. So that's interesting to hear. Having originated from IP, though, the product is not necessarily IP focused.
Correct.
It's a litigation product, and it can be leveraged for all sorts of complex cases.
Yes.
Again, from having had conversations with you before, it's not a product that necessarily fits within the traditional e-discovery space. How do you stay relevant in an increasingly competitive environment? Litigation technology has been the holy grail of legal tech for many years. For a lot of people, it may feel that things have gone a little bit stale. Ultimatum is bringing something a little bit different, more fresh to the industry. Can you tell us, or can you tell our listeners, how do you differ from a traditional e-discovery solution?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and that was one of the interesting things when we first launched our product. The big players in e-discovery, we met with most of their C-suite, and they could not figure out how we did what we did because we did approach the problem from a very different angle. I mean, we took the approach that for litigation, whoever tells the best story wins. So it is a story-centric platform. It's based on understanding your story. What makes it truly different is it's self-learning. There's no other legal tech out there where it learns from you. Like if you're working on litigation, the lawyers know the story they want to tell. You can start with that. It understands that and uses that to locate the data that fits, whether it contradicts or proves your story. It's not biased one way or the other. But it's able to autonomously find information that you didn't even think about asking for. So that's very unique in that sense. And then fitting more into the traditional e-discovery side of things, our second aspect of the platform was autonomous review. So we are using Gen AI to review documents at scale, and we're doing that in a very different way as well. We have automated the prompting process, so the client does not have to worry about prompting, because most lawyers are not good prompt engineers. And so we've automated that part of it, where the system prompts itself and can even refine itself based on your answers so that we get accuracy numbers in the high 90s.
And is the system currently predominantly used by litigators in law firms? Is this the primary user base of the tool?
Yes, it's mostly being used by litigation, e-discovery professionals. We also have some investigators. And then actually a big project that one of our clients just finished up was not litigation specific. It was just, we need to investigate the client's data.
Okay.
We need to find answers. So it's an investigative tool as well. It's not just limited to litigation.
And can you tell our listeners a little bit more about some of your significant customer wins on some of the projects that you are particularly fond of, that you've collaborated with customers over the last year?
Sure. I don't think I can mention names, but we had one of our large corporate clients had their law firm, their outside counsel, investigating a product line that needs to be approved by government bodies before it can be sold to the public. And they had to go back and look at countries all over the world, the different, I want to say organization, but that's not the right word. What's the word I'm looking for? Agency in each country, and the communications back and forth as to that product getting approved. And one of the things they really liked about Altumatim OS is we allow the user to set up the data sets however they want. So they were able to have a separate data set for each country, but then they were also able to combine them.
Okay.
So they could look at things from multiple perspectives, and within a very short time, counsel was able to get the answers the client needed and provide the report. And everybody was happy. Outside counsel, the corporate client, they were happy because they got much more efficiency. They all got the answers they needed. And that to me really showed the power of our platform, because they started by describing the scenario of this product's approval. And that informed the system to help them find the things they were looking for.
Okay, so that was a regulatory task?
Yes.
Yeah. Was that in the pharma industry?
It happened to be yes.
Okay, it did sound like. So that was a case that was initiated by the corporate
Correct.
and beneficiary through you for their outside counsel to essentially leverage you in your product.
Yes.
Fantastic. So there are scenarios where in-house we look at this and say, hey, I've got a problem. I do need Altumatim to step in, and they have strong recommendation to their outside counsel, and that's how you guys come on board and things start moving forward.
Yeah, and they could even use it in-house directly.
Okay.
So let's say you get a whistleblower report comes across
Yeah.
general counsel's desk. Is this true or not? They could use Altumatim to get a very quick look and see, oh my goodness, we have a problem. Or no, this report is junk. So they wouldn't necessarily even need to bring outside counsel in, but if it's a significant.
So we are looking also at internal investigations.
Yes.
as a market of adoption.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's interesting. Can you tell us a little bit more about some of the most utilized and liked features that you guys are offering right now?
Yeah, one of the things that people are very excited about, I mentioned a few minutes ago, which is that you do not have to write prompts to run a review. It really is you create a gold set of answers, say 100 documents, for example, and you would, if say we're looking at privilege, are these privileged or not, then the system is able to, based on your criteria, what you're looking for, it's able to prompt itself and run a review on those 100, and then compare its answers to yours, and then make adjustments if there's not sufficient match. So I like a baseline of at least 90% precision, recall, F1 score. If it's not over 90, I'm not happy, because I know we can get there. And we are seeing numbers in the high 90s based on this self-optimization. So that has really removed a lot of the frustration that we've heard about, where people are excited about Gen AI being able to streamline things, but how do they get it to give the answers they're looking for? We've solved that problem in a unique way.
So just so I understand this correctly, you put the information inside the system. The system will essentially give you hints as to what prompts it's suggesting that you should be utilizing. And then you are leveraging then that information to extract the best possible information that can support your case or the narrative that you are trying to build around that case. Am I understanding this correctly?
So when it comes to the autonomous review, you define what's important. If it's responsiveness, we have to produce to the other side. You get the request for production. That's criteria that the system can use to say, okay, I need to find documents that fit in these categories. Or you're issue tagging, or you're looking for confidential information. I mean, there's a variety of circumstances. So all the attorneys have to do is work with what they're used to. They write review protocols. They've been doing that for years. They write requests for production, but they don't write prompts. And prompting, it's an art as much as a science, really. So with our system, they could just give the request for production, and then it will run a review on a small sample set. And then counsel can look at those answers, decide, is it on track or not? If it's not, it will self-optimize based on their feedback as to, it'll look at, for example, patterns. Where was it right? Where was it wrong? And it's able to determine, how do I adjust the way I'm reading documents overall? It's much better than a person having to iteratively decide, oh, we need to change this. Now we need to change this. I mean, we did things that way before, but more recently we've made that autonomous.
And have you seen more usage in specific industries? You mentioned pharmaceuticals earlier, or I mentioned pharmaceuticals, and you confirmed that. Have you seen an increased utilization in specific sectors, or are you seeing a diverse group of cases and industries within which your system is being leveraged in?
It's pretty diverse. Yeah, I mean, there's some of the bigger accounts we have are with larger institutions like some of the big pharma companies, but it's not specifically, there's not one industry that's really gravitated to it more than another. It pretty much depends on what counsel is presented with at the time. So,
and as a system, do you see this as a complete possible replacement for traditional e-discovery systems? Do you see this as a complementing technology where it's used in parallel with some of those traditional systems? What is the current status of how Altumatim operates alongside other products?
Yes, great question. So our vision is to be a full end-to-end case preparation, investigation, e-discovery platform. I mean, we built Altumatim OS as an operating system that has different apps that run, whether it's autonomous review or investigation or deposition preparation, different things run on there. Much like, your Mac OS, you can use Adobe or Word or, those different apps. So we do see the vision is to be a complete platform that you could replace other e-discovery platforms. Other multiple different kinds of platforms could all be coalesced into one. At the moment, because there's a lot of inertia in the legal profession, people are using it in parallel. So we have users who are very accustomed to a particular platform for doing their final review and production, but they love the information they get out of autonomous review. So they'll run that part, and then we can export the information into the platform where usually there's a team of people who are very accustomed to that, and they work there because they love all the bells and whistles they have there. We're building enough momentum that eventually, why would they even go to the other platform? They could just stay in Altumatim, beginning to end.
I mean, there is a lot of excitement in the industry. There is a lot of trialing and testing right now. Organizations such as the one at whose offices we are currently in, Ropes and Gray, people have been very transparent of saying that they are buying multiple systems. They're testing those systems in parallel, sometimes even for years at a time. But eventually, they will have to pick a winner. Can you tell our listeners and viewers of a feature that you're currently working with, that you'll be introducing in the near future, that can potentially make you be that winner?
Well, the whole platform, the ability to do multiple things and have it all informed by the story or by the description of the scenario. You don't have to be a storyteller, but you're there in the data for a reason. And having that inform the AI so that it's better at getting you the information that you're looking for, that's really a core aspect of our platform. But you're asking, is something new coming out? Yes, we are going to be releasing either end of this year or Q1 26 a feature that we call Time Machine. We had Time Machine in our original version. This is a new version where we're referring to it as like a living timeline. So as you're doing an investigation, it is automatically deciding, oh, here's an event that fits with this part of your story. It fits with these issues or with this individual, and builds that out for you. And then you could select an entire timeline or portions of it and have it tell you the story. Like literal, the audio, it'll generate an audio of here's everything I found based on documents you said were important, based on documents I think in quotes for AI, think are important, and tell you that story. So it's a very powerful way of getting a sense of what really happened here without having to slog through thousands and thousands of documents, trying to find the right keywords. You don't have to do things a traditional way at all. It's very conversational, very intuitive, and extremely intelligent system.
It sounds like a feature that will give an edge to
For sure.
a lot of those litigators that are using your technology. As we're wrapping up the interview, can you, David, tell our listeners what's your personal vision for the future, not just for your product, but just the whole realm of litigation technology in the years to come?
Yeah, I think it really is a sea change that we're going through right now. There's a lot of fear. People are afraid of, how am I going to bill hours? There's a lot of different things that are in play. But I think overall, things are going to get better for the legal professionals, for their clients, and for the justice system overall. So if we're able to get through the most tedious, expensive, least valuable parts of a process like e-discovery, and do that more efficiently and more effectively, then to me, lawyers will be in a better position to get the best results for their client. They'll have better information more efficiently, and better work satisfaction. I mean, I didn't go to law school to sit at a computer and click yes or no on thousands of documents at a time. I went to strategize, to take depositions, to write motions, to argue in court. I think we will, as legal professionals, will be freed up to do more of that. And in the end, the client gets better results. Because right now, the statistics show that about 80% of the time is spent looking for information and 20% actually using it. That we're flipping that on its head. You will be able to spend 20% finding it and 80% of your time actually advocating for your client. So that's my vision for where things are going.
Do you feel that the future litigators will be dealing with far more, let's call it, exciting elements of the job?
Yes, exactly. I mean, why you went to law school is not to sit and review documents. Do you have to read documents? Of course you do. It's part of the job. But to have that high-touch, low-value work automated and done more accurately, I mean, our system is far beyond human accuracy. So to get that better information more quickly and have more time to really strategize, or to decide early on, for this client, it's best to get out of this case, for example. You're doing better for your client in the end, and that's very satisfying. I mean, as a lawyer, I always wanted the best result for my client, and that could be defined different ways depending on the case. Sometimes it is getting them out before it's a bigger problem, and sometimes it's, we're going all the way to trial because we want to win a jury verdict. So having that additional information earlier, and just the scope of knowledge you can get. Like, for example, a lot of people will ask, how do I know what's in that data set that I haven't seen? Do I have to read every single document? If you have a system like ours that can point you to things you haven't even asked about, it takes a lot of that fear away. You don't lie awake at night wondering, what else is out there? What don't we know? It does a much better job of helping you get a hold of the things that really count.
Do you know whether the system has been used in criminal proceedings?
We have not yet had somebody use it in a criminal case, but we've talked to a few lawyers who are interested in potentially using it that way.
Do you feel that systems like yours will improve the access to justice gap?
I think so, yes. I mean, one of the things that we did when we first were able to prove to ourselves that our system worked was we donated it to the Innocence Clinic at the Michigan Law School.
The Innocence Project?
The Innocence Project is very similar. There's a number of law schools that have something that follows that vein. So the Michigan Law School has the Innocence Clinic, where students work with faculty on getting people out of jail who have been there, for the wrong reasons. Interestingly, the first case that the university put in to Ultimatum is in a Netflix documentary. So that was kind of fun.
Is it? Are you able to tell us?
So I think the Confession Tapes is the name of the series,
Tapes.
and it was, if I remember, it was episode 4, Trial by Fire.
Yeah.
Is where a woman was convicted of murdering her daughter who died in a house fire.
Yeah.
She did get a new trial recently, so that's exciting news. I can't take credit for that. Certainly the students and attorneys working on the case, but just being a part of that is and donating technology to help people. I mean, the way I like to think of it is the people who can't afford it sometimes are the ones who really can't afford to be without it.
Yeah.
So we want to help. We want to help people like that, and I think overall, you can reduce cost on, again, high-touch, low-value work. It's not going to put attorneys out of jobs. There's a lot of work to do beyond just hunting through documents, as an example. But being able to reduce costs is going to open doors for more people to be able to fight their case.
And for some of the people that are listening to this but are unfortunately not able to be with us at the conference over the next couple of days, could you tell our listeners who are the people that should outreach to you and see Ultimatum?
Yeah, I mean, anybody who is dealing with data, whether it's 10 million documents, 10 terabytes of data, or 1,000 documents, it really doesn't matter. You can use our system to understand how that data fits with your case, whether it contradicts it, whether it proves it, whether it helps you or not. You can really get answers much more effectively, and then use that information to your client's advantage.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.